Welcome to Tantrum House. I'm Kevin.
Melissa.
I'm Will.
Sarah. Katie.
And I'm Ryan, and today we are going to talk about some of our predictions, what we expect to see in the year 2020, which we are now in. Last year of a decade, unless you're counting differently.
Like some people.
Like most other people.
Anno Domini.
Predictions.
Gregorian calendar, check it out. It's a thing.
We're going to jump in right after this cool intro video.
And we're back.
Man, our first Tantrum Talks of
Oh, wow.
2020.
I actually didn't realize
it
that was
is.
this. That makes sense, though.
We're Tantrum House and
And it's 2020.
Tantrum Talks. So our new sponsor for our Tantrum Talks for 2020 is Burnt Island Games. That's why we put Endeavor, Age of Sail.
Slick.
I know, I was like, product placement, right?
Yeah.
Really casual. Really. We like to keep these really casual, though, for sure. We're going to be talking about some of our predictions for this year, so we'd love for you to chime in and share with us some of your predictions. But yeah, finish that shout out to Burnt Island that I just
Yeah,
jumped
so
in on.
Burnt Island Games just finished their In the Hall of the Mountain King. I think most of the backers have received their
I believe so.
their copies, and you can check that out on their website, In the Hall of the Mountain King. We have a promo card for that. Do we have any left?
We do.
Okay, cool.
TantrumHouse.com/shop.
And they are also working on another Kickstarter that we'll tell you about in a future video, but I saw some artwork for it. It looks pretty sweet. In Too Deep, right?
Yep. I got a little peek at that when we were at PAX. Did you guys see that one as well? It looks pretty cool. So we'll definitely have some more info on that very soon.
Cool.
But where do we begin with our predictions? Do we have an order? Is there a plan? Is there a reasoning to our chaos?
So, yes, in the comments below, as we're talking, what are some of your predictions? What do you think what holds...
For the board game industry.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
board
Hobby.
game.
Oh, we can get a little bit broader if you want, like...
New Star Wars movie?
Do you think? No.
Probably. Why not?
We're
Next
going to get an
Christmas, right?
announcement about the next Star Wars movie, but I think they're doing like every 2 years now.
Starting 2 years ago.
Starting this past December.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I've got an easy one to start with.
Okay.
I predict Asmodee will
Oh, come on.
buy
That's so
out
easy.
somebody.
Okay.
And the one that I want to hypothesize on, though, is come on.
Yeah, that's actually a good... That's a good prediction, Will.
I have heard rumblings and murmurings. I think we've seen it over the last couple of years where Come On has become so big that they've kind of brought in some, like CEOs and people from outside the hobby, which has definitely changed the way some of their stuff is organized and run, like at conventions and things. Mm-hmm. Fortunately, I don't think I've seen any dip in their game quality, which is good. I was a little nervous that was going to happen, but I feel like they're still punching out some really awesome stuff.
So here's the thing. They have done a lot more in 2019 of their own games and, with their, not only the Kickstarters, but they haven't brought in a lot of the licensing that they used to through like Crania Creations and Horrible Games and things like that. Now Horrible Guild. But because they're now distributed through Asmodee, so is that the first step?
That's what I think. Is that the slippery
but they
slope?
did just announce the Marvel United game.
I know, with Spin Master?
Yes.
Which is Kickstarted. So I can see, part of me sees Come On still being this group of people, this big group that is putting out Kickstarters, but still under the Asmodee umbrella. I don't know.
I could see it. I mean, Asmodee has bought up a number of companies, and those companies still publish under their own names. It's just that they've got the networking and the backside and the funding.
Here's
and
the
things.
one sort of wrench that I'll throw in.
Yeah, what do you got?
So Come On is now officially tradable on the Hong Kong stock exchange.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow.
I
Yes.
hadn't heard that.
Yes.
Interesting.
So that is a little bit different than
I
some of these
know.
other smaller companies.
So,
that
I mean, Asmodee could just say,
we're going to buy
buy them out. I mean, I don't know if it's possible,
Oh.
like on
Through
the
stocks.
stock exchange, but
Yeah, but if you're publicly traded, why is that? Is it just
Well,
through Hong
maybe-
Kong? Like, could
maybe
we buy
it'll
stocks
just-
right now?
we could buy stock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I know my investment strategy. I mean, if Asmodee is going to buy it, then it's only going to go up. Although I guess that wouldn't work, right? Because Asmodee is not publicly traded.
No, Asmodee is not public. They're a private
Unless
company.
they become publicly traded. As
I don't
well.
know.
Ooh, can we predict that? Are you predicting
I
that?
don't know.
That
I don't
takes
know. There's been rumblings that Asmodee might be up for sale at some point.
Well,
too.
that's a good question. They did sort of their parent. Asmodee has a parent company, and I don't remember the name of it, but it was bought out a year or two ago. That was sort of switched over. You guys remember that?
Yeah, I do.
I don't remember anything, but it sounds good.
You're just playing the game.
That's right. Give me the date of the game.
Yeah, like just recently, FFG Fantasy Flight Games has been laying off some people, consolidating some of their departments. So.
Well, they're a subsidiary of
Right.
Asmodee,
Mm-hmm.
and Asmodee already has Asmodee Digital,
Mm-hmm.
so there's no reason to have a Fantasy Flight interactive digital department.
I know, but they had that Lord of the Rings game that a lot of people liked. So
Yeah, well,
Somebody
I think
else
originally it was
going
gonna
to somewhere
be-
else in the.
it was going to be free, and then they had it be paid
Okay.
with paid expansions, and I guess there wasn't enough demand for it.
So let's move on to another topic. Let's talk about Kickstarter since we are knee deep in Kickstarter.
Yeah.
What do you guys think is going to happen in the Kickstarter world? Do you think we're going to see like a lot more Kickstarters? Do you think we're going to see a lot less? What do you guys think?
I think this is just me. I think we'll see less, but we'll see bigger pushes in those fewer Kickstarters. Or maybe I should say some of the big ones funding and a lot of the smaller ones not.
I mean, go for it.
I hope not. I don't know. I think there's I think due to the media that us and a number of other people have been producing, and it reaching further into like, I think a lot of people are where we were 5 or 6 years ago.
Okay.
Is what I think. So we were like, man, Kickstarter's a thing. They have games. We should make a game.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I'm seeing that happen in a lot more people's minds as more people have come into the hobby. They still don't realize how big and crazy it is and how hard a Kickstarter is.
Yeah.
But there's more people aware of it now than have ever been. And I think we're going to see a lot of first-time startup Kickstarters from people who think, oh man, I can totally do this. I'm judging that slightly on the fact I've received like 100 emails in the last 2 months from people wanting us to preview their games. But I think it's just going to continue for a little bit longer until Kickstarter breaks.
I think the barrier to entry is higher now
That's
than
what
it was a couple years
that's what I'm
ago.
gonna
I
say.
agree with that.
You have to have a polished page. You have to have good graphic design. You have to have more than just hey, I want to make
An
a
idea.
game.
Well, I think
The well-thought-out
repercussions of that
Yeah.
are, I think there's still going to be a lot of first-time Kickstarter companies, and they're not going to fund.
I agree.
I think
I think
that's-
2019 was the first time I saw more than normal first timers just not make it. They didn't fund, and they had to either relaunch.
Well, I think it's the first time I've seen some companies who are seasoned and have 2 or 3 Kickstarters, and they still didn't fund, and even
so
a
many.
relaunch was difficult.
So picking the right games for a Kickstarter audience, I think, is going to be key. You just can't put any type of board game on there. I think, personally, I think you're going to see big campaigns. So last year, we've had some big ones in the past. There's been an 8 million, a 10 million, a 12 million. I don't know if we'll see it that big. I think the highest, my prediction, I think the highest campaign will reach $7 million in the hobby board game industry. I'm not talking about if an Exploding Kittens comes or something like that. I'm talking about in the hobby world. I'm going to say the highest one's going to be $7 million.
Which are you going to say which game that is? Do
It's,
you have to watch
it's
your
either
preview
going to
video?
be Frosthaven or Gloomhaven. I'm sorry, Frosthaven or Seventh Citadel. Those are my top 2 picks. But
Yeah.
there's
who knows what's coming?
I know, we don't
later.
even know of some companies that are.
That's true.
Yeah.
Some people are tight-lipped and
Yep.
don't tell people ahead of time that they even got things coming. So.
We have Pete on watching. So hey Pete.
Hey. Anybody else out there that's watching, say hi too, so we know what you're up to. Do you agree with the predictions so far? Do you have any of your own? I agree. I'm really curious to see what Frosthaven does. I think that's got to be crazy huge. I think so many people, and Gloomhaven won so many awards.
It's still number 1 on
Right.
BGG.
That people are just gonna, I think, jump all over it. I think there was there was kind of a swell that had to grow up as people became aware of what Gloomhaven was and got on board with it. But it's already got that, so I think that's
Yeah.
got to be the starting point. And then where does it go from there will be really interesting.
Pete says Marvel United is going to do well.
I
We agree with you.
Everybody already seems excited
I think
about that.
Marvel United will be pulling from a much wider audience.
They already have that chibi audience with like
Yeah.
Arcadia Quest and things like that.
Well, that
so.
and just Marvel fans
Oh,
in general.
sure.
So
Yeah.
any of those people on Kickstarter that finds it is they're
do you
pulling
think
from
do you
a
think
bigger
there are people
audience.
that say I love Marvel, I love miniatures, but I don't like that they're too cute? Do you think people do that?
I don't
Well,
know.
I
No.
mean, you have like, is it Marvel Crisis or
Protocol?
that's kind of a more traditional
Sure.
miniature
Yeah,
game.
and Fantasy
that-
Flight's doing that.
So I think it's maybe a different audience.
Okay.
Possibly.
I don't know. I'm okay with the art style. I think mostly because I watched the cartoon.
$40 trillion.
What was the Marv or what's it called?
Which
With the kids watched.
Oh, the cartoon version? I don't
Yeah,
remember
whatever
what
the
it is.
cartoon version is. If any of you can figure that out.
Superhero Squad.
Superhero Squad. Yes.
Okay, I'm not familiar with that one.
That I watched a lot of that with our kids
Okay.
when they were younger,
Okay.
and so I'm okay with being cutesy, even though I'm a big Marvel fan.
Pete says $40 trillion. I don't know if we'll get that high, but I do expect it'll be one of the high ones for the year. If I had to guess right now, Marvel United, I would guess 2 to 3 million. Some people are saying 4, but I don't know. We'll see. People are having fun with it. Yeah.
Rookie's mind is blown by
Brooke.
the last year of the decade idea.
Last
By
year.
this being the last year of the decade idea.
Yeah, it's just weird. I don't think we think of that because the dates changed from 2019 to 2020.
Yeah.
But it's okay. People think it's a new decade. It's okay.
Well, to be
Well, we all thought that when it changed over to 2000. Was that a change of
No,
actually the
that's
century?
not how the calendar works.
So 2001 was the new
It was the
century.
new.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
The millennium.
We can change
It was the
things.
Y2K thing. Can you believe Y2K was 20 years ago? That's
Yeah.
what blows my
Wow.
mind.
Feeling old.
All right.
Oh.
New
That was
prediction.
just last week, right?
New prediction. Will there be a new board game mechanic that's invented in 2020?
Yes, I believe so.
I sure hope so.
What is it?
I want.
I don't know, but I like the direction the industry is heading in. You can't just publish a game, even if the artwork's okay. It needs to have something new and creative about it for it to do really, really well, and
Yeah.
for it to stick around.
What is even our definition of a new thing though? Like, do we consider roll and write to be a new thing, even though Yahtzee's been around
Yahtzee,
forever?
No, you
Like,
can't. Roll and write's not a new thing. But
Are you
But it
thinking that-
exploded into a new thing.
The
Right, and it invented
card,
all kinds of
card
new versions of it.
crafting was
Card
it
crafting
kinda, it was
was
a
a
new
new-
thing.
yeah, card
Not the
crafting
past
with
year,
But it
but
AG.
was-
the past
yeah.
years, yeah.
Yeah.
That would be
I mean,
something
that was,
new.
yeah.
Okay.
But that was a new.
I think we might see more integration of technology and board games and
Speaking-
even more
well, we
merging
definitely know
of
it's
that.
coming.
Speaking of technology and board games, you have Tebaru, Teburu,
From Come On.
from Come On. So I'm excited about that. Saw
and I
a
think
preview of that at
There's
Gen Con.
other
Right,
also
the dark tower
play
thing
mats
with the
and
giant
tables
plastic.
and things.
Integrating technology. I think Tebaru is going to be huge. We'll
So, what do you think about that idea of the integration of technology and board games? Are we then getting back into like video
Video
games?
see. No, so I was talking to someone
Like,
about this. I think
Are
you
we
have three,
losing the board
No.
gameness?
You have three. You've basically created a new genre. You have board games, tabletop, which is purely analog. Then you have purely digital, right, with the video games. There's this crossover, and I think it's creating its own new market. So I think you have three different markets there.
Yeah, I would say like Mansions of Madness, Second Edition, and Journeys in Middle Earth. They still feel like board games, but a lot of it is facilitated on the app, and we play it on a
XCOM is-
TV.
Yeah, I was
so-
gonna say
so-
we've played XCOM, and it still feels like
you're
a board
still
game.
interacting.
What
and
about
moving
the
things.
board games that are like they're advertising? You're playing here, somebody's playing in Hong Kong,
Right.
some
Yeah,
buddies.
Tebaru, right?
Yeah. So we're all playing the same board game, but we're not anywhere close together.
Right?
Is that
I don't know. I
missing
might just
some
want to
of the,
play
like-
an app.
I was gonna say, is that missing some of the like human interaction that you
Well,
get with tabletop
Yes,
gaming?
and I agree maybe to an extent, but maybe you have friends that you can't get together because they live so far away. So I think it is a way to bridge the gap.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
I'm talking
I can
about you,
see that.
Tina. One of the games that we played just recently, we talked about this on the podcast, was that game on Steam. Can't remember what the platform is called, but the
TKO,
game was
yeah.
TKO, where you're using a computer to kind of narrate and run what you're doing, but everybody's interacting on their own phones. Everybody's still in the same room, although you wouldn't have to
You don't
be.
have to be. You
Um,
can play with other people.
So yeah,
Oh, cool.
I'm all for creating super fun experiences if the technology makes it easier and doesn't steal away from the experience of being
Sure.
able to like touch something and interact with things. Then awesome.
I mean,
Somebody
we
gave a... Go ahead.
played, what was it, like Wii Party or whatever, Mario
Oh yeah,
theme.
on the Wii.
Yeah, which is kind of like that
Right.
video game where people...
All right, moving on. Oh, people are
Yeah,
definitely
somebody gave a
saying
shout out
that
to Lucky Duck. That's for sure. They've been doing some
Yes.
really cool app integration stuff. Their Chronicles of Crime game, if you haven't tried that, is fantastic fun as you're exploring virtual reality realms, but playing a board game.
Melissa and I are ready to continue our journey in Journey's Middle Earth because we are doing the second campaign with Richard, Lanius, and Pete. Tomorrow.
Jump back into the adventure.
Yes.
Tomorrow begins.
Yes, I'm excited.
Tabletop
about-
Simulator. Now that's one that I'm not all on board with. I don't know why.
I never got into Tabletop Simulator. It's too clunky for me personally.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting idea. It
I
feels
think it
like
helps a
you're
lot of
playing
people.
a video game.
Yeah.
It's great for like play testing, I
It's
think.
great for
Yeah.
playtesters and designers and prototyping through that medium.
But I do
definitely.
feel like I'm playing a weak video game usually when I do that. I don't know why.
All right, continuing on the board game mechanics, do you think so? Roll and Rice, we talked about that, were super, super hot in 2019. What do you think? Do you think it's going to stay hot? Do you think it'll continue to go hotter, or do
I
you
don't
think it's
know.
going to start going?
I think it's tapering off.
Do you
at
think
this
that we've
point.
hit the? All
I
right,
think we've hit the highest point and then we're coming back down.
coming down.
I
Not
would
that
say-
not
I would-
that the best one has been created,
Okay.
but
Oh.
the volume of roll and writes that we've seen, I think is going to
Well,
take
Hitting
off
critical
now.
mass.
Pete mentioned
Yeah.
Roll for Adventures, which I think was one of the Thunderworks, one of their new games is coming out. So I think Cartographers is pretty popular.
Yeah,
So.
I mean, I've definitely seen prototypes for 2 or 3 other roll and write games.
Role player.
Sorry,
adventure.
Role Player
Role
Adventures.
player.
Thank
I'm
you.
like, what
Sorry.
you're saying is not right.
Sorry, Role Player Adventures. You put it on all caps lock and it got me confused.
Oh, yeah. I've seen 2 or 3 prototypes for roll and write games, so I know there are already a bunch more in the works that are going to be coming out. I'm also looking forward to like the crossover stuff where like we do a roll and write that's also a deck builder, that's also a area control
That's
or
what I'm
whatever.
looking forward
Like-
to.
I could handle that.
I think we're going to see roll and write that the ability to write on cards and improve them and change them. I think we're going to see that grow further, but it's going to it's going to become a standard mechanic, just like drafting or whatever, that gets added into a bunch of other games.
Yeah,
think.
I would like to see the roll and write and card crafting mechanics mashed together.
Ooh,
That'd be
I
a
can see
very-
that.
I think we get
Yeah.
That'd be a
What?
very
Yes.
But if you sleeved it, I think it would be okay. If you sleeved roll and write sheets that you manipulated
Yeah.
somehow.
Good job.
Somebody
Sarah.
needs to design that.
So
Raise your hand. Are you already doing it? That's what I want to know.
So Pete mentioned Tantrum Con in the
Yeah.
notes here. So might as well take a
Can't wait.
second and give a little prediction.
I predict, yeah.
What's our prediction about Tantrum Con?
It's going to happen January 30th,
Wow.
and it's going to be awesome.
That's probably a pretty good.
I feel like it's the best prediction, most
Yeah.
accurate prediction that we've made.
Yeah, and in the recent days and weeks, we've had a lot more publishers and attendees that are just getting more badges. So
Yeah, a couple new vendors come in, finalized a couple of events,
Yeah.
added a couple things to the schedule.
and I think last year we had 2 or 3 meal events. This year, I feel we have a lot more of those, which is
Yeah.
kind of fun.
Yep, that's
so
going to be fantastic.
I think that's
Those meal events are a lot of fun. I got to attend a few of them, like
Right.
working them and
Right.
stuff, and I was like, these are really nice. I enjoyed those a lot.
I think that like just makes our convention different. So
A little different.
a little different.
We also got a bunch of boxes in our dining room that are free giveaways.
Well, we had to
So
get
many
warehouse
pallets
space.
arrived
We have
at a
pallets,
warehouse, yeah.
Awesome.
pallets of games to give away.
Hundreds
people.
of games, yeah, that were given away.
I mean, I
Yes.
think we're reaching $40,000 worth of games to give away.
Oh my goodness.
Crazy.
So
Yes.
you get a game, you get a game.
Everybody
Yeah,
gets a game.
I was gonna say prediction.
Pete-
Everybody's gonna get a game.
Yeah.
Pete said that we have to bring our bigger car because he has games from Come On to give us. So.
Awesome.
Oh my
Our
goodness.
bigger car.
Well,
Awesome.
we're already too.
U-Haul.
We're renting
We're
a
up to
certain size
SUVs and
truck, and we're
trailers.
gonna have to up it.
Oh
Yeah.
man. All
Josh
right.
mentioned Merchant's Cove.
Oh,
We've
yes.
been looking at that one a lot recently as well. That's pretty cool with everybody having totally different asymmetrical player powers and boards and components and craziness. I'm looking forward to seeing that one come as well. What else was on there?
Any other predictions from you all? You guys have anything? Games that you're excited about for the future?
We kind of moved on from this, but with all of the people released from Fantasy Flight, one of their groups that was released was apparently the whole RPG team, which means nobody's working on the Star Wars RPG.
So what's your prediction, Ryan?
My prediction is that by the end of the year, we will have an announcement on a new revamped Star Wars RPG. Because since 1987, there's only been like a year, maybe 2, that we haven't had a Star Wars RPG. I mean, it switched companies 3 times, and this is like the 5th rendition of it. But I think we're going to see a 6th rendition of it, because this one, while very creative, can sometimes be a slog because you have to like interpret the dice unless you're more freeform. I think they're going to try to make it easier to get into, like D&D did with their 5th edition, Pathfinder just did with 2nd.
Okay.
And
That'd be really
there's been a
nice.
lot of long-standing RPGs that have just had new editions focusing more on ease of playability and for new people to get in and just jump in, like the new Shadowrun. So I think that's what we're going to see.
Yeah, just throw in Shadowrun, didn't you?
Yeah.
Just slipped it in there.
So I think Fantasy Flight, they're going to announce a new one. Because I don't think they're going to let somebody else take the license.
Okay.
Because they're still going to make board games. So I think they're going to make a new RPG. But
The Mandalorian edition.
I don't know. They might just be...
Ooh.
That's right. Who predicts?
That's
Okay, Mandalorian RPG, that makes sense. That's okay. But Mandalorian board game?
waiting.
I'm sure it's
waiting.
coming.
Baby Yoda, it has
Baby
to happen.
Yoda is gonna make bank for anybody who uses them.
We should predict Yoda. Is it a clone? Is it his son?
It's not a
I don't even
clone.
care.
Could
I want a Baby Yoda board game, even if it's a fun little dice game or something like that.
What do you think? What is the child?
The
What's
child, his name is Nigel. We found that out.
Did we really?
Nigel
What?
is a
Taika
terrible name.
Waititi, the one, I slaughtered his name,
What?
but the one director said he thinks the name is Nigel.
He thinks his name
Thinks.
is
Wait a minute, but we
That's
don't
what
know if it's
that's
Nigel.
probably
I
something they
think his
named
name
the
is
puppet
not
or
Nigel.
something. Nigel.
I don't know.
That was the worst.
Yes, here's my prediction. If his name turns out to be Nigel, there'll be a spike in babies born who are Nigel.
Here's your prediction.
That's a good prediction, actually.
That is the
Whatever the Baby Yoda's name ends up being. Spike. Next
Yeah.
year.
Yep. Even if it's something
That's
crazy
funny.
weird, there will be
Baby
somebody
Yoda
who
RPG,
names their
very
child.
nice.
Halo X30 says, I predict that one major franchise will get a legacy version this year. Yeah, we haven't
Yes.
seen too many
Ooh,
more.
let's think of which
legacy-
game would
we
that
had
be?
Clank.
Clank.
We
Got
did have
it.
Clank
This
Legacy,
year.
yeah.
Battlestar Galactica Legacy.
And Machikoro,
That
which
was-
seems like a really weird game.
It wasn't
to
that
have
legacy
a
version.
legacy.
Campaigny.
It was more of a module
What do I
game.
want to see as a legacy? Ooh, how about, is it right behind me? Everdell. Everdell Legacy. I'd be on board for that.
I predict a lot more partnerships between companies. We had, for instance, Bezier and Stonemaier
Oh,
between two
I
castles.
love seeing that.
I
That's
was-
really
Has been teaming up
fun.
with
Yeah, so yeah.
I'm turning on the audio.
Oh, he's
And
turning.
then-
on.
audio
is gonna be camera audio though.
But it's just Kevin and Melissa.
All right, we're gonna
Hey.
say goodbye, and I think we have audio only right here. Is that right? Do we have audio?
Can you even hear us? I'm not sure. Might just be sign language, which I don't know how to do.
Ryan says the couch audio is on.
Okay.
No video.
Is it back?
It's not gonna come back until the battery comes back on.
'Cause, yeah.
I said worries, but I meant sorries. And somebody said no sound.
We have to say goodbye.
Working now.
Oh, wait,
Oh,
Hello?
we're here.
We
Okay,
back?
we're back.
We back?
can you hear us?
Can
Does
you
it sound
hear
terrible?
us? Are we on sound?
Just this one.
Just
Okay.
the two of us.
Yeah.
Did you
Hey,
see
everybody.
Melissa's new cup that she got here? Say it out loud. Melissa.
Warning. Randomly start talking about board games.
That's right.
Is it really
If you wanna know
random?
about it,
I don't know.
Probably not.
Okay, so we're back. We probably should say goodbye since we only have this one camera and the sound's probably not that good.
And technical issues all the
And we don't know if that camera's. This is our backup camera just in case that one did go bad. But anyway, any final thoughts? That's okay. We can say
We have
goodbye.
to leave. Video and sound now. It is bedtime. We got babysitters and kids that are around. But thanks for so much for joining us for this little short one. We do have another one coming up next Saturday. Tell us what's that? Is that
Yeah, the
what's on the table?
18th. Yeah, we're gonna do a live next Saturday, the 18th of January. So join us for that live. When of course we'll put lots of other videos out tomorrow. You'll see my block video for the second half of January kickstarting. So check that out. And as always, be sure to subscribe. Check out TantrumCon, tantrumcon.com, and thank you to our sponsor, Burnt Island Games. Bye.
Bye.
And we're gonna close out. Oh no!
Maybe we are.
Oh,
We're
yes,
still live
sorry.
For a second, because I'm doing the wrong button.
Delay.
Because Katie's.
I'm
It's
in
not
your
Katie's
way.
fault, it's
I don't
just-
know what I'm doing.
Say bye one more time, Kevin.
Bye. I was checking people's comments. Denverbox mine. Sorry, Jonathan. The Denverbox is not.